Hi friends! Thanks for joining me today. We are going to talk about anxiety and nausea, two manifestations that could be your body talking to you, and it can also be an ascension symptom. So that's what we're going to cover today. And I'm just going to take a moment to invite it's very funny. I've never done a live from my computer before, so forgive me. I'm just going to wait a little bit. I see there are two of you here. Hi! How's everybody doing? Alright. Who's on here? Hi, Derek! Hey, Angela! Hey, Boo! Hey! It's so funny because I feel I'm so used to looking to the sides of the screen, but the computer is right on. Hi, Jeannie! Yay! I'm going to keep doing it. If I'm not looking at you, I'm sorry. Don't take it personal. All right. So I think, oh, we got more here. Who else is coming in? Yay! We're going to learn some things today. Okay. I said this before you guys got on. So we're going over anxiety and nausea. And we're talking about how not only are they communication from your higher self about what trauma is ready to come up and what's going on in your life, but it's also an ascension symptom. So I'm going to give us some ideas and perspectives to work with that. And I'm going to start with nausea because it's something I'm dealing with right now. And I want to show you how they kind of go hand in hand and how sometimes a manifestation of a symptom is not always a negative thing, you know, as we'll see with nausea. Sometimes the manifestation of a particular symptom, such as nausea, is more of a confirmation that you're in the process of removing toxicity from your life, or you have toxicity that you want to get rid of. That's, you know. So I'm working from my Metaphysical Anatomy book at first, and then we'll go off of there. I'm just going to read it to you right quick, because I know some of you have a book, but not everybody has a book. So nausea, which also includes bacteria, digestive problems, malaria, mercury problems, migraine, morning sickness, parasites, ulcer, and viruses. The emotions tied to it. What in your life are you unable to digest? Who and what are overwhelming you? You may feel challenged by past issues that are now being triggered by recent circumstances. You want to rid yourself of any toxic circumstances, including old emotions. This is a good thing. And this is something we must do in order to ascend. So that's how a symptom can manifest as, you know, a message that you have stuff to do to ascend, right? So your head mind often creates a worst case scenario that is not always real, which comes from childhood trauma, of course. Usually when we were in circumstances where we didn't know what was going to happen next, and usually if something did happen, it was always like really traumatic or big. If we had a narcissist as a parent, that happened a lot. Okay, the body is always ready to fight or flight, and as a result, it produces too much gastric acid, which for me is very interesting because of the gastroparesis. So like, I'm working on this stuff too. This is also related to the vomiting instinct. The body tries to rid itself of excess acid. This can happen when a person tries to rid themselves of circumstances that are triggering old trauma. Hey, Edith! So So that is something that, again, we must do in order to ascend. We must address the circumstances that are triggering the old trauma, because those circumstances are lowering our vibration. And if we are participating in a lower vibration, then we can't really receive the abundance. Also, a note on that, if we have leveled up our vibration and we're on a new level, we want to understand that there are new rules. Something is happening now with us that we've never had before. So we cannot apply our old rules to this. We have to, that's again why we're wanting to get in touch with our inner guidance system. That way we can run on that as we create this new world, basically. So in order for us to ascend, we have to remove these toxic patterns, which is why nausea is bringing, itself to the surface, to let you know that this is indeed what you're doing, which for me is confirmation that I'm ascending. So again, it's one of those things where it really depends on what choice do you want to make with your thought? What choice feels better? What thought brings the most relief? When we're thinking something and it's making us feel icky, then that's communication from our higher selves, our source energy, that we're thinking about something that isn't true for us. Okay, it might be true for Joe Schmo over here, but it's not true for us. So we want to, we want to honor that. We want to make sure that we're honoring that, and decide, really do realize, like, we have to be responsible for our thoughts. The monkey mind is, it's like a child that needs to be redirected. So when we're going through these things, and some of them are very, very difficult. I'm going through a lot of crap right now, and it's not to diminish that it's very difficult, and we can still do the work, and work with our minds to develop a perspective that brings relief. For example, my dad has cancer right now and he's terminal, and there's a choice where I could do what I've done in the past, and I've used someone else's circumstance to create a dramatic experience for me so that I would get the attention that I needed, but I didn't know how to get, and it's kind of like a passive aggressive way to, to take care of my own needs. It's empathetic distress is the actual word for it, when we use someone else's experience to process our own emotions, because we're not giving ourselves the permission to process our own emotions. So yeah, I guess that's all there is to say about that, because I fucking forgot what I was saying. Okay, anyway, yeah, choose thoughts that bring relief. That's what I'm trying to say, because the higher your thoughts go, the higher your vibration is going, and when you have a high vibration, illness cannot thrive in the body. It's no coincidence that alkaline foods are high vibration foods, because, like it's saying, when the body is in an acidic form, then it is in a sick form. Okay, so this can happen when a person tries to... It is the body's way of trying to create a barrier between you and a stressful environment. So that's a warning sign that I may be disassociating a little bit. You may worry about things that have not taken place and might never take place. This often stems from childhood spent in a very stressful environment. You may have always seen your mother feeling stressed and anxious. This left you with the feeling that life is unsafe and everything is out of control. Too many challenges and emotions are surfacing, and you are trying to digest everything that is taking place. The body is responding by creating more acid to digest challenges and obstacles. When nausea starts as a result of feeling disempowered and unable to change your environment, you are trying to discard and move away from unhealthy, upsetting, or stressful circumstances or people, which is good. That's a great sign. So these are how, I can choose thoughts that bring relief. I can say, I'm having nausea because I'm sick and because of the gastroparesis and all, and that makes me feel tight, like in here, it doesn't feel good. Or I can say, oh, I'm experiencing nausea because I'm raising my vibration and I am working through like stomaching strong issues and looking at them. and that I am indeed addressing it. You know, I am trying to discard and move away from these. It's about letting go of the things that are unhealthy, harmful, negative, or causing a great deal of stress. You could be trying to escape from a current or past situation that is eating away at you, especially if the nausea is due to a stomach ulcer. You may fear that a past situation could repeat itself, post-traumatic stress disorder. You don't know when to feel safe and when to relax. And if you don't know when to feel safe and when to relax, then you can't manifest those things for yourself. So that's something that I can help with theta healing. So if you've never felt safe and you don't know how to relax, then message me and we can set up a session to move that ship. You draw your power from your gut area where a person feels their natural instincts. So if your gut is messed up, then your emotions are going to be messed up too. As I experience. I'm getting better and better all doing this stuff. Okay. You have a fear of letting go of the old and embracing the new. New changes might come with a price, adding stress to current challenges that you cannot digest. You have an unconscious fear that new changes might create more out-of-control circumstances. Therefore, it feels safer sticking to old and familiar relationships, habits, and patterns. How many of you guys do that? Right. And the vomiting, I mean, like, I really am there. Like, I have a lot of, or I mean, I don't want to take ownership. I'm experiencing a lot of, fear that new changes might create more out of control circumstances, because I can feel I'm leveling up. I'm having, more communication. I'm having more guidance about eating alkaline foods. Like I've watched enough people on their ascension process, and I've gone through my own, portions up to now to know when something is about to kind of like shift. And in my experience, the shifts really brought about a lot of movement for me and uncertainty. And although now I know that I have this like alignment and this direct link, it is still that, manifestation of PTSD where I'm like, which is silly because we get through it every time. I mean, we've made it this far, guys, like we made it this far. So some we're doing, so vomiting. You need to get rid of toxic people, circumstances, and relationships. There are no more benefits for you in these current circumstances. And you might want to consider changing debilitating habits and patterns. You know what you need to do and where you need to go. Yet you are fearful of the unknown and future. You triggered an instinct that requires you to move away from certain people, habits, circumstances to improve the quality of your life. The body wants to rid itself of old toxic emotions and patterns. And that is, again, a great thing. Like, that's a great thing. That's a great thing. So, again, even something like vomiting, we have the option of looking at it, one way or the other. We can look at it again like, oh, I'm vomiting because I'm sick, I'm having this, which is taking ownership of all kinds of things. Our language really does matter. What we speak, we speak into existence. So, you can choose to look at it like that, like, oh, I'm so sick, blah, 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 blah. Or you can choose to look at it like, oh, wow, like, I am moving away from certain people, habits, and circumstances to improve the quality of my life, which is, boom, self-love. How about that? How about that? Catch me outside. Everybody keeps telling me to stop saying that, but I can't. Oh, okay. Angela said, this is my childhood explained. I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's validity to it. So now that we're older, we have the option of retraining our mind about what happened. What happened? That's over. That's done. It's done. And we're just reliving the stuff in our minds. And so I think it's time to choose a thought that brings relief about it. You know, does it bring more relief to continue the thoughts, or to say like, and it really is this. I was just talking to Durga today about how we think it has to be so hard, and I promise you it's not. It really is just as simple as saying like, I'm going to choose differently. Okay, that thought, that belief doesn't feel good in my body. I understand when I don't feel good in my body, that means I'm thinking or participating in something that is not of my highest good. So what thought makes me feel better? You know? And then, oh, okay, well, I choose that. I choose that. That's really it. Like, that's really it. That's how things started to shift for me. Amber Murphy, she was in the group. I'm not sure if she is anymore. She was the one that taught me that, because I was in the middle of like organ failure, and she was trying to tell me, you know, teach me how I had chosen that. I had brought that to myself, and I got all pissed off because I thought like she was like blaming me for it, you know, when that's not what happened. You know, I did bring that circumstance to myself, and I was like, well, I don't want this. You know, I want to live. I want to thrive. I want to feel good. And she was like, okay, well, just make a different choice. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, just make a different choice. Just make a different choice. And I was like, huh. And then I was thinking, okay, well, what does it look like to want to live? To want to stay in my body, right? Because I had attempted suicide 6 times. So it's clearly giving the message that I didn't want to be in my body, and so my body obliged, right? Well, then I was like, oh, fuck. wait. Just that I thought wrongly. I thought I wanted to die, but now that I'm here, universe, I am realizing indeed I want to live. And that's how we learn. We experience what we don't want so that we know what we do want. And I was like, okay, well, I have to take steps to show my body that I want to be in my body. And that's when I started like, you know, doing yoga again and breathing exercises. And I started practicing self-love, because I was like, well, if I want to be in my body, then I got to show it how I love it, you know, and not just in like bubble bath and fucking candles, but in removing the toxic people in my life, you know? So buttons on your underwear. Now we're going to go to anxiety. And if you guys have any questions or comments, or you want to work on stuff and transmute shit, or you need some direction, hit me up. The easiest way to hit me up is probably through Facebook Messenger. Jessica Lynn Ross. Anyway, anxiety. Before I read this, again, this is an ascension symptom, and it comes down to what feels good. That I'm to tell myself, oh, I'm having anxiety because this is happening and this is happening and this is happening, or does it feel better to go? Alexandra Love Sarton did this. Okay, I was fucking anxious. I was at work. She, you know, sashayed in the way she does, and I was like, I hadn't really known her very well, and I don't know why I felt compelled to talk to her about anxiety, but I did. I was like, I'm just feeling really anxious. I think because she asked me how I was, and I was in that space where I was like, I'm going to tell people how I am. I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to show people it's okay to not be okay. And so I was like, I'm feeling really anxious. And she was like, oh, why? And I said, you know, all this negative stuff. And she was like, oh, my dear. No, you're just ascending. That's all. Like, that's just what's happening. You're ascending, and it feels funny in your body. And I was like instantly, I was like, you know, like I felt this release of tension. I was like, oh, that thought feels much better than the thoughts I was having that was putting me in a victim mentality, or a, you know, powerlessness or stuff like that, right? So ascending is not physically comfortable in our bodies. I don't know what to tell you. It's not. Because when trauma surfaces, it creates physical manifestations. The thing is, when we address what is attached to those physical manifestations, our body will heal. And you guys have seen that. You guys have seen that. So another thing I want to say about anxiety, really, honestly, I mean, I know that there are these emotional roots, and maybe for me, it comes down to what thought brings me more relief and what thought helps me more. Is, you know, what thought helps me, this stuff, or the understanding that we only have access to source energy in each moment, okay? Because time is not a construct of God. It is a construct of humans. And we do have the power to teleport on our own timeline. And the way that we do that is, like, you know, by going into the past or going into the present. And but God's not there. God's not connected. So it feels just, in essence, by itself, uncomfortable because we are disconnected. So when I'm feeling anxiety, which happens, you know, this is my process. Oh my God. You know, like, what's going on? Why am I, what? I'm feeling really anxious. Okay, why am I feeling anxious? Okay, well, first thing is I'm not in my moment. And anytime I'm not in my moment, it feels bad. First thing, before anything else, do that. Oh, I'm not in my moment. I am not in alignment with God's source or source energy or whatever, the universe. And so that's why I feel bad. And sometimes it's honestly just as simple as that. Because when we go back in the past, we are living in traumatic experiences, and we're like scared children alone by ourselves, off in the dark, without, you know, like our guidance source there to help us through, you know, that moment. So it feels scary. And when we are projecting our thoughts into the future, we, you know, right now, a lot of us have had traumatic pasts, you know, that's why you're watching this, you know. And so when we have a traumatic past, then when we are trying to create and manifest things for our future, or when we move ourselves into the future, again, we are without the source guidance. And so even that can feel bad, because we are usually projecting an image based on past experience. So anytime we're feeling anxiety, it's really just get back in your moment. And then once you're in your moment, and this is like Eckhart Tolle, okay, the power of now. This is what his stuff is. So when you get back in your moment, then you can truly assess, am I in danger? Because the anxiety could be a sign that you're in fucking danger. You need to get the fuck out of Dodge. So, am I in danger? Oh, and the way I bring my awareness back to my now is I start to look around. I look at my feet, and I'm like, okay, I have a brown floor. There's a blue rug. There's a polka dot bag. I have, you know, and I go around the room, and I'm like, okay, I'm here. I'm in my moment. And then I switch into things that I love. Oh, I really love my peacock feather. Oh, I really love the way I've decorated this place. I love my plants. And so then we raise our vibration up, and then we're already feeling better, which allows us to then, of course, manifest better future things for yourself. Because all of this started for me because I was like, my life sucked, and I was not going to live the next, you know, fucking 50 years of my life like that. That is not going to happen. That is not going to happen. So I became really about, like, what can I do right now to create a better future for myself? And like, this kind of stuff is it. Stay in your now. Once you get in your now, once you're in your moment, you raise your vibration a little bit by saying things that you love. Then you can assess, okay, am I in danger right now? And if there's no immediate danger, then you know, oh, okay, I'm activated. What was I thinking? Who's around me? Did I eat something? What did I smell? You know, assess your environment to see what the trigger was. Oh, that really got me activated. What is attached to that. How did that make me feel? When's the first time I felt that way? When's the first time I felt that way? Go back and look at it. And whatever it is, it's usually your child, your inner child, you know, that didn't get a need met or was punished for needing anything at all, you know, and then in comes the inner child work, which I'm going to do a bunch of videos on that. So if you are in danger, then you take action. You take action, and that will make you feel better. You get out, you know? So that's my personal process through anxiety. I'm going to read you what Metaphysical Anatomy says. It's not too long. I really appreciate you guys watching. Okay, anxiety is caused by unresolved trauma that is piled up. The anxiety is surfacing to push you to change certain patterns and resolve unresolved problems. Again, ascending. Ascension. All of this is ascension. We must stop telling ourselves we're sick. We must stop telling ourselves we're sick. There really is nothing wrong with us. Our bodies are functioning exactly the way they're supposed to do. We are not broken. We just don't know how to translate the messages. That's really it. That's all that's going on here, okay? And so all of this stuff, all these physical manifestations, that's why everyone is sick right now. Like, we have like 70% of the population is sick right now with some sort of autoimmune illness. It is because we are waking up and we are ascending, and we just haven't been told the truth about what that is. Because, you know, when we are not in the know, then we are easily dominated and controlled. Anxiety can sometimes take a form of excessive worrying, feeling a sense of urgency, panic, or mild paranoia. You may feel yourself restless, edgy, or tense, having difficulty sleeping, and your mind racing from one thought to another. You often worry about everyday things such as work, finances, and family. You don't know when to relax and when it's valid to worry. People who have social anxiety are afraid of social gatherings and often feel that people are staring or sizing them up. Being in the center of attention is your worst nightmare. You often have a fear of being alone, as it adds to your anxiety. I want to note to that. Geez, I have to turn my air conditioning on. I tried to. Sorry guys, I tried to keep it off so that it didn't, you know, run the sound in the background, but woo! It's getting sticky. That's nothing I say right now is going to sound better. I'm just going to keep reading. Oh, center of attention. I love to be the center of attention. I'm a performer. You know what I mean? I like it in a controlled way, though. If I'm thrust into being the center of attention, I typically have an anxiety, you know, reaction. You often have a fear of being alone, as it adds to your anxiety. You may be scared to be outside of the home alone, of being in a crowd, or standing in line. I definitely am more of a hermit than I go out. And if I go out, it's always the same place with the same people. You may dislike eating, drinking, or even writing in the presence of people. I don't like brushing my teeth in the presence of people. Anxiety can be triggered for a fear of failure, such as anxiety around public speaking, job interviews, or exams. People experiencing anxiety often feel like failures. Your best was never good and pleasing enough because you don't feel like you're capable of helping yourself emotionally. This creates a sense of shame, helplessness, and a need to hide. That was like, wow. Your best was never good and pleasing enough because you don't feel like you're capable of helping yourself emotionally. This creates a sense of shame, helplessness, and a need to hide. Wow. Before I knew how to cope with all of this stuff, I definitely, you know, this stuff has definitely helped me feel less anxious. Because I feel more and more in control of, I'm still working on anger. The anger thing. I'm thinking about doing some workshops for those who are in this area. like an anger releasing workshop and all of this stuff. So if if you'd be interested in that, again, let me know. There is no sense of emotional structure or stability in your life, and probably never has been. This may be the result of an emotionally dysfunctional and dramatic family life. You currently feel trapped in your circumstances, lacking the freedom or ability to make everyday choices. You may behave in ways that you think are pleasing to others due to a fear of judgment, abuse, or punishment. Being someone other than yourself feels safer, as criticism will be directed at your facade and not toward your vulnerable identity. Ugh. I had to look at that. I was okay with wearing the mask until I realized, like, it was a mask that made me more palatable for other people. However, it ended up, I felt very alone. I felt so very alone. So, you know, when we can start to do things that make us feel better, also the anxiety goes away. Being someone other than yourself feels, oh wait, you often misinterpret the way others communicate with you, reading too much into what others say. I would say that's like number one issue in most relationships. You may find yourself searching for clues during conversations that might validate what others say. You may find that may validate how unworthy and undeserving you are. This often surfaces when you are already feeling overly sensitive as a result of repeated criticism and judgment that has been projected toward you. There's a fear of taking on responsibilities and feeling overwhelmed by it. You feel traumatized by being needed too much by others. Being needed means extra responsibility and possibility more space for errors on your end. This could result in being rejected or criticized, which is what you are trying to avoid. You feel stuck in a fight or flight instinct with many conflicting emotions in the heart. The body is still responding to a threat, however, the threat is long gone. Again, find your moment. Get in your moment, okay? The threat is gone. The threat is gone. Children who experience anxiety are often expressing their parents' suppressed anxieties. This is important for those of us whose children, you know, are having to go to the doctors or having to go to counselors and stuff like this. It's very, very much like our energy passing on to them. So it's a good way to show us what stuff we really want to work on. In other cases, because like our children mirror back to us our own shit, you know, that we haven't like addressed. That's why we get so angry, because it's triggering some shit, you know. I love using my children as a teaching tool. When I start hearing them yell at each other all the time, I immediately check, am I yelling? And 100% of the time when they've been yelling, it's because I've been yelling. So if your children are yelling a lot and you're having to realize that you have to break them up a lot, look at your own life. Have you been yelling at them a lot? Have they heard a lot of yelling? You know, if they are not able to emotionally regulate outside of being a normal child, you know, and learning like the emotions, then are you regulating your emotions, you know? In other cases, parents may have been dysfunctional, irresponsible, or emotionally absent from your life. This made you feel that no one would ever fend, protect, or look after you or love you. This often leaves you in a place of being emotionally needy and insecure. When your needs are not being met, you unconsciously create the emotional strain and stress that served you and kept you safe in the past. Your emotional need for love has been met by abuse, rejection, and hostility. How does that make you feel? So, again, there's a lot of stuff that works to help these symptoms elevate. And if you find yourself, you know, I am having a brain fart for the word if you find yourself like resonating, if you find yourself resonating with the anxiety or the nausea, let me know. We can, go deeper into it. And remember that these are ascension symptoms, and sometimes it's really just the fact that we've shifted our vibration and, it feels weird in our body. Also, that's what I was saying earlier. If we've shifted our vibration higher, but we are still participating in like, third dimension behaviors and actions and thoughts, it will get rough. Like, it'll get rough. Your life will get rough. It's like a spiritual, like, parallel to sneakers in a dryer. It'll get rough. So if you're going through hell, look at, okay, wait, maybe there's some stuff coming up that I want to look at, because my life is a train wreck right now. That's how it feels for me, at least. I don't know about you guys, but I call them shit namis. And there's an example of how this is the whole positivity bullshit. There's an example of how something that negative could actually be a positive for someone. That's something else that I'm going to make a video on. Because for someone else to say like, oh my God, I see a shit nami coming, it might feel bad in their body. But for me, it makes me laugh. It makes me feel better. It's like, it's like that good giggle. It's like, yeah, here it comes. Good thing I have my spirit guides. Good thing I know I'm in alignment. Good thing I know I've set myself up with my support system. It might be hard. And we can also get through it with grace and dignity. We can choose to love in the face of adversity and stay calm in the chaos. It's possible. We can manifest really wonderful things for ourselves. It just, we have to figure out how to unfuck ourselves. To put it so eloquently. Also, I feel like I should address the fact that I curse like a sailor. Many people have brought it to my attention, and I don't know what to tell you. If you don't like the way that I'm cursing, then perhaps there's, a message that would be, better received from another source. Because for me, it makes me feel better. For me, it helps me express myself. It really helps emphasize what I'm saying. And I think it also, there's this like kind of image that goes with healers that we have to be a certain, certain way. And I just don't, I'm a healer and I also cuss a lot. You know what I mean? There can be a duality. I do think maybe I would like to not use the F-bomb so often, particularly when I'm like really working with someone. I totally excuse it because Tony Robbins says fuck all the time. I promise. Go look. He's on Netflix. Anyway, so much love. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Message me. Like I said, easier to catch me on Facebook Messenger, under Jessica Lynn Ross, or the Metaphysical Misfit, or the Loving Life. I'm on Instagram and Snapchat. You're gonna follow me everywhere. I just need you guys to be kind of creepy and just follow me. Anyway, love and light. Love you.